Okay, so long expected. Here the time remapping tutorial. I've got a 100 frames per second, as you can see here, 100 frames per second clip that I've imported into After Effects. You know how to do that. And now I will show you how to do this. Okay, firstly you're gonna reinterpret the 100 frames into 25 frames. Select the clip in the project browser and say interpret footage main. Okay, here in this window you can interpret footage, you can override timecode. I like to do that because then it starts at 0. That's easier than this particular timecode. But this is what is more important to start off with. This you're going to conform the frame rate to 25, which then automatically makes it 4 times longer. So it's only a 13 or 40 seconds clip. You could, in the future, if you've got short clips that loop very well, you can also make them loop right here to an infinite length. But that's not what we're talking about. So then you say OK, and then as you can see here, from previously 14 seconds, it now has become 25 seconds. 57 seconds, sorry. Anyhow, so now we're going to create a timeline with this clip. So the easiest way is just to drag it underneath here in this window and let it go, and then your timeline will be 57 seconds. Okay. The next best thing, this is hops by the way, so you can rename your, if you would have a clip called hops, well actually let's keep that and then say hops, it's his name, the cat, and it's like C002. I always keep the number of the clip for future reference. It's just a good thing to do. Anyway, it's not about that. So next thing up, I mean we don't need sound, so I'm gonna turn that off. It will just take otherwise processing power. And the next best thing is we're going to layer enable time remapping, and this is a shortcut for it, but you have to select the clip in your timeline, which now creates time remapping. Creates these 2 keyframes, as you can see here. The first keyframe stands for 00 seconds and the last keyframe stands for 57 seconds. So in principle nothing has changed at the moment. Good. So now we can start time remapping. So for instance, if we look through the clip, Hobbs is not doing much until he jumps off the tape, right? So maybe that's good to first identify that point, because I want the point where he jumps, which is nearly here. I want that. I'm actually going to turn this to half resolution, so then it runs a little bit better. So at this point he starts just checking it out, and then about there he goes. So okay, at that point I want full slow-mo, right? Until well, probably around here where he hits the ground, maybe right there. So this part I'm gonna keep within the 4 times slower, because it's still 4 times slower, because remember I changed interpreted the time from 100 frames to 25, so it's 4 times slower between these keyframes. But now all the beginning bit is extremely long and long-winded, and he doesn't do anything. So, but I still want to keep it, let's say, hypothetically. So I'm gonna move the first keyframe up. So then it means this first action will go very fast, then it will go slow, and then it will go fast if I move this keyframe up, because that's also not interesting. So the only action really we've got, I mean this will be now all still. Sorry, that's not the frame. Yeah, you will be sitting still here. So I'm gonna set my work area between these areas here. So a little bit there and a little bit there. And I'm dragging this up there. And now I'm gonna press 0 on the keyboard. So I'm gonna do that with the 0 on the keyboard, so it will play back. Once this line is green here, it will play back in real time. Remember the first part between these two keyframes is still incredibly sped up, because that was initially from between here and here. So that's much faster, and then here it becomes real time. I might consider making these keyframes not linear, these are linear keyframes, right? But making them ease to ease, which will create more interesting. So that's more smoother changeover from the high speed to the slow motion. Let's see what it does now. Okay, it looks very quick. It's very active. Little cat, this one, fluffy. And there he goes. You see the moment where this moment it's not really smooth. So change this to right click and say ease to ease. Then unfortunately it has to re-render, but and we'll do that. The same thing with this one. Ease to ease. 0 on the keyboard again. Let's see if it renders. So that's the cat. Let me render this out. So go composition, add to render queue, and then you I've got this template. I would say check your settings, make sure it's work area only, make sure that's indeed the amount of work area, make sure the quality is best and the resolution is to full, and then here you can actually choose. This by default would be lossless. That's a format you shouldn't use. That's animation, and that's a very inefficient and non-economic codec. Uses a lot of space. It's much better to use for short clips ProRes 42, and if it's a very long clip you can always go down to LT, which is more like a proxy format, a low quality format of ProRes, but it's still very good. Don't necessarily, if you want good color, don't go to HD64, because it always flattens the color somewhat. Okay, and then you say okay, and then, well, we don't have audio, but that's okay. You'll add that obviously yourself. And here we go, and say render. So it has rendered. So now into a QuickTime movie, we can go open up the output module and then click on this blue indicated word, and then it goes to something. Yeah, so that's it. How to at least time remap fast footage. And yeah, I would suggest you do it here in After Effects, not in Premiere, as I said in class. Okay, bye, thanks.